I'm just 2 years under
1900,
200 years old, by
2000.
the way.
That's
I've aged
200
quite well.
years, right?
I was born in upstate New York
Or 12.
and ended up here in Pine Valley. Well, to me, that's quite a stretch. If you'd have been where I was born, the way it looked compared to this, but that's what Mormonism does for you. It spreads you around. I've been in all annals of the church history. I've done it all. I got a member of the church in 1832, 2 years after the church was founded. We moved to Kirtland. I was involved in the Kirtland thing there. We built the temple. I was so blessed in my life with the spiritual manifestations. It was unbelievable how I was blessed. I had a vision in the Kirtland temple. There was about 100 of us in the upper room. If you'll recall the Kirtland temple days when it was built and dedicated, it was the most spiritual time in the church's history, probably. People from the outside saw angels over the temple and all sorts of manifestations at the time of the dedication of the Kirtland temple. We had a vision inside of there that I was involved with Joseph Smith, and there's quite a group of us, about 90 of us in fact. The rooms it was the most unbelievable light you could believe. You could see the floor, the ceiling, and there was manifestations that I'll never forget as long as I live. I was actually, Joseph Smith and the witnesses of the gold plates and myself are the only ones I know of that actually witnessed the gold plates. An angel presented them to me after much time of deliberation and perplexity in my life. I prayed and prayed, and they showed it to me that I could preach about the Book of Mormon, which is a manifestation unbelievable. I got to guard the bodies of Hiram and Joseph after they were murdered. I was assigned to, they brought back to Nauvoo. I was assigned to guard them before they was buried. I was part of the Nauvoo Legion at the time. That was quite a trying time in our lives. I actually went into Jackson County as part of Zion's Camp. I was a member of Zion's Camp. Any of you don't know too much history about that, that was a camp that was formed to go to Jackson County to help the saints that were having trouble with the people. And we went along, and I traveled with Joseph. There's about 100 of us, and Hiram and Brigham Young and most of the 12 apostles at the time all went with us. We had some very interesting conversations along the way. At one time, members of our camp, we'd get around the fires at night. Many of you have been out camping and everything, you know what it's like to build a fire and you get around it. Some of the members, some of the brethren, asked Joseph Smith to repeat the first vision to him. And that was very interesting to hear it from him, firsthand. Several different times he mentioned that and brought that story up to us for us. I served a mission for 2.5 years in England, and I've often wondered if I could get a number on how many people that I baptized and touched and whatnot and preached to this time, what that number might be. Maybe one of you out there could figure that out. How many members that really did bring into the church. I came west. I'm trying to think of other things I've done. We went into, like I say, into Jackson County, and we had to be persecuted and driven out of Jackson County. I was part of that. I came west with the 2nd Vanguard, probably about the 3rd Vanguard of the pioneers that came into Salt Lake Valley. And we done quite well there. I actually got voted, I was in the city council, Salt Lake City Council for a while. And at the time, also us members of the Zion Camp, we made the first quorum of 70. And Joseph Smith and Hiram Smith and Sidney Rigdon set me apart as a 70, on the first quorum of the 70. And I knew those guys personally, on a first-name basis, and thought so much of them, their testimonies. And we'd have meetings when I got to Salt Lake. We'd have meetings there, and I'll be darned, we'd done quite well. We went up to Park City, set up a sawmill, and a dairy. Now, that's quite a stretch, a dairy and a sawmill, but we did that, and let me tell you, that wasn't easy work. And I'll be darned, when the Dixie Mission was called, they pulled our name up. And some say the people that got sent to the Dixie Missions were the rebels.
Oh.
That Brigham Young really wanted them out of his, I got to think that isn't my case. But because we were, I've been a faithful member of the church all those years. And I brought my family into it, my dad and brothers and whatnot. I was the first member, the first person to grasp the gospel and go with it. And so I brought them in. But then they sent us down here, and we got into St. George in December of 1861. And it rained for 40 days and nights. Maybe you've known that. You've heard about that one. It hasn't rained since, like that. It rained not day and night, but it rained for 40 days during the day, sometime for 40 straight days, from December 21st through. We had a pretty tough go of it. Then we decided that we could get up here to Pine Valley, because I'd had some experience in a sawmill. And we spent 20 good years here in the Pine Valley area. We had a little ranch, and we'd done some sawmill work. And I can't think of a better place to be buried than right here in Pine Valley. But I will say, I mentioned this before, but my favorite great-great-grandson is Jim Milne.